So it's that 25 damage every 5 seconds. Reet picking up an Elam in the feed. Jay Mudio also going down to Epic Whale. So that's an additional 8 points potentially going over to them as we close in on that first placement threshold. And Jagvir, Wheels, and Batman Booga able to just barely yeet themselves above that threshold.
More Elams going over to the top team as more Surge hitting Drew over here, but that's not the only thing that shotgun shot gonna hit, connect, and take them down. As especially Cuddy looks like they don't really have a lot to work with there, and they are gonna fall. Falconer, K-Nox, and 40R trying to capitalize on some eliminations as well. That's gonna be Rex finding an elimination. Asher Genshin will take one down.
And Andy got knocked again. I'm just throwing that out there. And we saw him up on the high ground. We knew they were doing fine on Surge. 10 points going over from everyone else. But that point we were just talking about, just kind of like poking your head out there and trading, he's down again.
Again, I'm gonna go back and watch all of it. I gotta see what Andy's play style is in regards to that. I think, yeah. We're just gonna go back and watch all of that. As 40R, Falconer, and K-Nox look to grab any of this extra loot. They got some damage off as well. They grabbed some things away, and we've got a replay of what happened to Andy there. No, this is actually 40R taking down Yon there. Beautiful edit shot. Just knew, hey, they're getting hit by Storm Surge. Doesn't matter. We just sit here, we wait, we hold our walls, and we'll take one shot and get the healing.
Yeah, and that's one of the required skills when it talks about box-to-box fighting. If you want to immediately get better as a Fortnite player, particularly when you're playing in team game modes, you need to learn how to open up an edit in the box-to-box situation, fire the shot, and be resetting the edit all in the same motion, right? And it looks like you're almost throwing the shot through the build, but there the shot through the build, but there is a small window there where you can get hit and the opponent can also get hit. Quick stat on the left hand side, Jelta and Arkham were responsible for eliminating 6 of the top 10 teams in match number 4 on the day today. So that was the previous match that we just ended up seeing, or it might have been game 4 overall. We'll get clarification on that one through there, but it just goes to show how these players in particular are able to really kind of highlight in and have these key game impacting moments. And that's what we talk about, those direct leaderboard interactions.
And a reminder for everybody, 432 is what Scissor, Coffee, and Eclipse are sitting on. 437 is what Arkham, Epic Whale, and Reet are sitting on. They have that 5-point lead. You see the breakdown, and there's a jump down to Andy, Physics, and Jelty, 394, and then it's a bigger jump there between Grim, Yumi, and Squishy. And that's still achievable. We got 2 more games. We got this one to finish up and 1 more after. And honestly, this is a great zone for a lot of people. I thought this was really gonna pull all the way towards Believer, but a lot of people just got gifted a beautiful opportunity.
Yeah, we're even a quick little Storm Surge turn back on. You're like, what is 4th zone? Storm Surge shouldn't be on. 2 people got rebooted, so you can see them hanging out down by the reboot van over there. So teams will get an extra little check to add to their checklist right now. But unfortunately, it's the team who did the rebooting who is underneath Storm Surge. So this could end up being a vicious cycle where they just rotate reboots through. This is not something you see all of the time, but the card will drop immediately back at their feet, and they can get them right back up. So that's one way to deal with it.
I guess, yeah, in some sense of the way, it's one way to deal with it. And they're on top of the reboot, so it's not hurting them at all to keep rebooting. So yeah, why not?
I mean, somebody will have to go down there. The one thing I'm not 100% sure of in terms of the interaction, I'm not sure if somebody ends up falling directly to Storm Surge, they actually drop a reboot card, because I know there's no down but not out if you get eliminated by Storm Surge. Again, I've watched a lot of Fortnite. This isn't a situation I think I've ever seen directly inside of Trios, but I mean, it's a good little use of it, and we are in the 4th zone. They have priority position on that side, so that is very, very tough right now. And we have seen a net gain in players since the last time we checked in and Storm Surge turned on. Yet again, this is the warning for the 50-person Storm Surge, so 7 trios are going to be underneath the pressure.
And they got to reboot them now if they want a chance to get to that 50-point threshold, because it no longer matters about the 70. You got to reboot and just try to find some damage, because when that 50 turns on, you're still going to be below, as Andy, Jelty, and Physics will be below Coffee, Scissor, and Clips looking for the high ground. But oh, wait a minute, they are only 30 above. It's dropping pretty quickly. They're looking for the high ground, maybe looking to go for a pad, but that's early before the half in, half out shows, and they're doing it. They're going for it right now. They are below Surge. They're putting the pad. Chili Pressures come out. They're going all the way up to high ground. They're trying to land on top of it. They do. I don't think they're going to get a lot of damage off. Eclipse is going to take a lot. No, they do find one. Does, I think, get an elimination there. They are going to be above Surge as well. No, maybe an Elam coming through. I don't believe so, but someone got a lot of damage off. No, Elam does come through. Eclipse will take down Nico. That is a beautiful execution, and that is how you do it. If you are below Surge, you make a decision and you go.
And we talked about a tournament defining moment. They just went up and took high ground while underneath Surge and slapped around a trio who has won 2 victory royales today. And they did it very quickly, taking no damage. We'll see Chris being able to pick up a final here as players are just dropping in the Elam feed in the top left-hand corner. Only one more will need to go down. Then that Storm Surge will end up turning off. We're also closing in on our cascading placement points here in the penultimate match of the Trios FNCS Grand Royale. The last time you will see Trios, don't forget, 2022, it's all about the twos. Duos will be the main game mode. So it's the last time for these teams to put their stamp on it, and we know how much is on the line. Trying to compete, trying to find a little bit of room right now. G2 Jelty, 33 Andy Vetcha. Krizik's been taken down just under 400 points. Poffy picks up a knock onto Lush in the feed. Eclipse going to get the confirmation. Poffy picks up another one. We talk about the battle at the top. Well, the Elams are being traded back and forth as we finally now will close in on those cascading placement points, so they're going to come fast and quick.
They were doing so well, but again, what happened was all of a sudden Rex, Snacky, and Bavs are going to have the high ground. That's setting them up so well to climb to the top of the leaderboard. But yes, Andy went down a couple times, was able to get back up. But those shields that he used, those heals that he used, hurt them so much. And in this moment right now, that is where you will see it. They do get an elimination on the Defiable. Great, they're able to grab some extra loot back. This will keep them in the game. But Arkham, Re, and Epic Whale, look at them. They're posturing for it. They want that high ground.
They want to go up, but that's not a situation I think you necessarily want to go up into. Favs, Snacky, and Rex, they have a good ground cover and directly, and I mean directly, like 2 layers underneath them. Scissor, Eclipse, and Poffy, they're waiting because they know that, like, hey, this is the first time in a while they've been up towards the top part of the map. They have a pretty good priority positioning, and now teams are being forced to rotate past. You see Andy trying to line up a shot and instead going to opt for a high pad through. They do check out height. He peeks it for a second, but he doesn't quite have enough. The layer is just there, so it's going to drop right on top of Jelty. As you see, they're below. Snow will be able to ping pong right back above, 113 above. The Storm Surge is changing out, but up on the high ground, Bav, Snacky, and Rex. Chris takes a peek. Arkham, they're going up. Epic Whale, Reed, and Arkham are going up, and Arkham gets ripped to shreds. Reed tries to do something to help out, help his teammate. They're below, and Reed gets picked apart too. It's all going to be on the back of Epic Whale as Arkham has 5 effective HP. He needs to find some room to pop some shields. No matter what, they need to find points in this game. They have to give up the high ground, and they need to just reset. The player carrying all the floppers, all the white heals is down. Now it's just, he's able to pick him up, trying to get close to him, but he knows he doesn't have the effective HP. He just needs the loot, as Arkham is going to need to put up the clutch effort. Keeping an eye on the top left-hand corner, though. Who else is going down? Who else is getting knocks? As you see, Wave was the one to get the confirmation onto Epic Whale. In the top right-hand corner, you have Arkham. He's the solo. In the bottom right-hand corner, you have our second-place trio, who have actually overtaken our first-place trio due to the number of eliminations. We talked about the 1-point difference. Well, they're pushed.
Point victory royale means a lot. Arkham really just wants to stay and get as many points as he can to get every single person or trio that goes down is one or a couple more points coming through. Arkham getting
so much work is on the backside of the zone. Players are struggling to rotate, but Arkham has a brain and a half on him. 200 IQ, throw it out. Mr. Savage, this guy's got 300 IQ. Finding the space and getting himself into the top 10 without anybody even throwing a bullet towards him. The question is, how long can he hang on? Because while this is all going on, to Dog goes down. He gets the refresh and he has 60 builds now. And on top of that, the zone is pulling back. Poppy's down. Scissors looking for some space. It's Arkham versus Scissors for a battle at the top. Who can add a stamp going into the final match, and who will propel themselves into the conversation?
And once again, it's Scissors as a solo put on his shoulders. Has to clutch up, but he falls. He takes too much damage, and 484 is where he goes out. Arkham 479 just needs to stay up, has the match. What can he find? What can he do? Again, keeping it close here means so much. It doesn't matter if they overtake. They just need to stay close because that last game means so much. There are so many points up for grabs. Good layer changes coming through. 479 Arkham trying to find anything. Finding shots, does not need to take this engagement. Dropping all the way down, separating himself, trying to stay alive. Is going to find elimination on the backside. That's more points. Enough mats to barely stay alive. 11 HP and a dream sprayed from high ground. He's going to go down. It is so good from them.
That's a top 5 performance from Arkham. He put it on the back, and going into the final game, there are so many trios who are going to be in the conversation, but the main team going up against the underdogs. But right now, what's happening on the low ground is Blizzy has a knock on a dynamic. He was a siphon going through. He's looking to go find that. He ends up finding it. He has the launch pad as well, trying to find a harpoon, any form of utility, but he's looking through. He finds the fishes, and he couldn't get over, but Zello had more than enough. He takes the victory royale, pushes them up to 318 themselves. But the story again comes down to the individual efforts, the battle at the top, and for the 3rd region in a row on the broadcast, we're going into the final game, and it is literally anybody in the top 4's competition.
Whew. Solo performances yet again. Congratulations again to the winners of that game, High Ground, Rexy, and Selho, securing it with a couple extra floppers just in case. But Sundown is right. We can set up the leaderboard with Zeke, Ellie, and Panda, but it's truly going to come down to anybody in that top 4. If they have a great game and everyone else goes down, it is theirs.
One more time, we'll kick it back on over the desk, and they will let us know what the stakes are going into our final match.
Sundown Clay. It's scary. You know me. You know, I get tense in these situations. I get nervous. Let's take a look at these leaderboards together. We have 1 game left to go. There's a lot of prize money on the line. And, you know, my little heart, my little hamster heart is it's beating real fast right now, Kelly. I don't know that I could take this.
Well, after that end game, how could it not be? So many solo clutches, a new team grabbing a VR. We got to see Blizzy's team play absolutely out of their mind as well. I think they had something like 11 eliminations towards the end of the game there. So, yes, these leaderboards right now, which we're pulling up as we speak, we're going to actually look at this. Instead, it's Arkham and Epic Whale trying. Reek goes down almost immediately, and Epic Whale is going to follow closely, but with Ark only alive. Look at him. He only has 5 HP here, Panda.
Yeah, I mean, look, it came down to this, right? The aggressive high play ended up not going in their favor. Arkham immediately having to disengage in a bit of a shambles situation. 5 HP plus the 50 shield. Tried to get Epic Whale back in the game, but ends up going down. Fortunately, has some floppers in the inventory, makes some big things happen. But we'll see in a second what he actually was able to do with those floppers. But there it is. Still 1 point ahead there on the leaderboard. We are going into the final game of the Grand Royale, and it is all down to 1 point.
My goodness. I mean, we keep seeing these 100-point games, so still there is some viability to our top 5 here, grabbing that first place spot, but obviously Arcrim and Poffy's team would have to go down pretty much immediately on drop for that to happen. But just look at the differences in their stats right here. Arcrim's team going for the consistency, whereas Poffy's team is going for the eliminations, and I feel like this is a different story than what we saw from day one here. So both teams pretty much just showing how well-rounded they are, and with a 1-point difference, Panda, I'm so nervous for this last game.
I'm so nervous too, but we got to talk about it real quick before we dive into the last game. Arcrim's effort as a solo player ultimately kept him at the top here. Remember, like we saw there moments ago, Reed, Epic Whale, they go down after that aggressive hype play, but Arcrim grabs those floppers from Epic Whale's loot, holds on for those final moments, and then it makes so much happen. I mean, literally, if we had to break down the solo impact score from Arcrim alone in that game, it's got to be crazy high.
It would be wild.
I mean, he literally was a solo in game 10 as well, and was able to make it into 5th place there. So to do this again, and to also have the teammate of Reet, who has the best solo performance, I mean, it's just showcasing that this isn't just the best team in North American West, but also the best individual players as well.
Guys, we got 20 seconds before we jump back on this battle bus. 1 point separates the very top, and with that last victory royale, we've got Zello, Dynamic, and Rexy finding themselves in top 10. Remember, we talked about this. Being able to find yourself in that top 10 is a very big difference in prize money. So the question becomes, can they hold on? And of course, who will walk away in that number 1 spot? One last time in 2021 here in NA West for the Grand Royale. Let's do this.